Nobody wants to be in hot seat today, my friend.
Is that the hot seat right there?
Yeah, well, we'll see if anybody wants to get in there. But if any of you want to move closer, I know we're videoing it, but all you can see is the back of head. So if you don't want to be on a video, you still won't be, essentially. So but you're also very welcome to stay where you are. I believe the Pleasure Chest use their videos for their social media. That's where I tend to use mine on my YouTube and stuff. So just so you're aware that if you want to come up, if we get no volunteers because it's been recorded, then of course we can pause the recording. It's about what's happening here tonight. It's not about creating content. It's about giving you a good class and a fun experience this evening. Shall we, if you can hear me okay, we can always turn on that. This mic is just that mic down there, so if you can hear me, it's if we start doing a bit of hypnosis, sometimes my voice drops, so it will just mean it'll get projected out so you can hear everything. But as you can hear, I'm not a local girl. I'm from the land of, if you watch Happy Valley or Last Tango in Halifax, I come from around that area in the north of England with the rolling hills, where we have a ton of rain, so this is quite normal weather for me, so I'm quite happy. I don't melt in the rain, as you found out, didn't you, Greg? My lovely friend Greg here, who's your local hypnotherapist, I have to say. If you want local amazing hypnosis work done, he is your guy, so give him a shout at the end if you're looking for a good hypnotherapist in the area. But I am an award-winning hypnotherapist. That sounds very grand, doesn't it? I'm an author, a sex educator, and I work very much in the realm of sexuality. I also have 1 foot in the erotic hypnosis world, a foot in the therapy world, and some of the stuff that I do kind of amalgamates those things together, because you can pull some amazing stuff from the erotic hypnosis world that we can use therapeutically, and I know a lot of my students will steal stuff from the therapy world and use it in the erotic hypnosis world. All hypnosis is amazing. All hypnosis is the same. It's just the purposes that we have of it are different. You might know it as something like mindfulness. You might know it as meditation. The state of mind is all kind of very similar. So it's just kind of what we do with it and how we apply it, really. So tonight it's my pleasure to be speaking to you about your pleasure, your erotic pleasure, and how your mind actually is your biggest, most powerful sexual organ that you have by a gazillion miles. All eroticism starts in the mind. Our libido has a massive kind of mind component. Our body, our mind and body connection, obviously, our mind is a big part of that. But it's very easy, and I often see a lot of clients who are finding that they believe their eroticism starts somewhere around the genital area. I will often try and awaken their eroticism by trying to awaken their genitals, and it doesn't necessarily work that way. So what I want to talk to you about this evening, or what I want to kind of play with this evening, because this isn't a stand up and listen to me for 2 hours. Hopefully, if you're game, we can do some demonstrations so you can start to see how some of these things work. We can have a good time, we can play with it. Obviously, consent is still a massive thing with hypnosis, so if you come up, I'll be telling you what we're going to do, or what we hope to do, hoping what you want to get out of each one of those little kind of demonstrations and sessions. And for most people, I will ask to touch, possibly, if I need to, their head, their shoulder, the back of their neck, possibly their hands. If you've got a problem with that, just let me know, and I'll make sure I don't do that. We're just kind of doing things to kind of anchor some of the hypnosis in and just kind of facilitate things. So just so you're aware of that. Right off the bat, I don't want to scare anybody, and consent is always the most important thing, isn't it? So, so there we go. So, let's have a look. What do you think are the biggest blocks to pleasure, first and foremost? So many people have blocks to pleasure. Shame, absolutely. That is by far the biggest, most gigantic thing to the blocks to shame. So it kind of makes sense before we start kind of looking at how to access pleasure more easily, is just to look at how to unblock it first and foremost. Shame is the big one. I'll teach a really simple technique in a minute so that you can help to kind of unblock that. And also things like not feeling good enough. And the other big block to pleasure is this. So if you just close your eyes for a moment, don't worry, I'm not hypnotising you, I'm just asking you to do something. If you imagine that you are on a commuter train, You're running really late to a really important meeting. The train is now running late. You think you're going to be late. You might miss the meeting. How do you feel? Anxious, stressed. Yeah? Now kind of open your eyes again, take a deep breath, close your eyes again. And this time I want you to imagine that you're on a beautiful, magical mystery tour. You don't know where you're going, it doesn't really matter. Going down a wonderful, windy road, you can stop off here and there. It's a gorgeous view for you to look at, you to enjoy. And then you can get back on the bus, go on another, maybe different windy road, enjoy the view there, even noticing all the wonderful things that you can look out through the window. Now how do you feel? Relaxed, it's kind of nice, it's like where am I going? It's that curiosity, isn't it? Where could we end up? That is the difference between being able to easily access sexual pleasure or not. If you are stressed, if you're stressed like a commuter, running thinking you're going to run and get late to a meeting, especially if you're running after an orgasm, you know, the harder you try to get there, the more you try and force it, the further it seems. And being on a magical mystery tour, either with yourself or a partner, that is the difference really between easily being able to access pleasure and not being able to access it very, very easily. So I'm going to show you just something just about the power of your mind. Is there anybody that's happy just for me to do like a quick demo up here? Yep, come on up. Is it Kirsten, isn't it? Kirsten.
You can say here, you can say
here. Kirsten, okay. All right, so this is just a really simple one. Are you left-handed or right-handed? Right-handed. So will you hold out your left hand? You just close your eyes for me. Can you think about something that makes you feel amazing? Absolutely amazing. So you feel strong and in your power and all that kind of stuff. Are you ready? Just feel how strong your arm is there. Notice that strength there. Now notice what happens if I ask you to feel something that just makes you feel like your energy's draining away. You feel the difference between those two? Yeah? Now arm out again, you can just give it a shake. This time think about something that makes you feel shame. So something that maybe in the past you felt shame about, or just when somebody tried to shame you. We've all had that in our pasts. Again, you notice how that's very easy. Now notice when you feel very proud. So if you put your arm back up again, something that makes you feel very proud, very strong, very wonderful, like nothing could do anything. Can you feel the difference? Yeah? Okay, just want to wake up, hop back down, and I'll use you, I'll ask you to be a demo subject again for me in a minute, if that's all right with you, Kirsten. If you want to just do that, if you're happy to do that, the person next to you, just notice if you think a happy thought, really happy thought, strong thought, and just feel the strength in your arm, and then just feel something that makes you feel sad and really lonely. You can see that's just the thought that makes a difference to how your body feels. So happy, 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 or not, just have a little play if you're comfortable too. You can feel the difference, yeah? Oops. Grab this here. Okay. So, what do we do about these things that make us feel a bit weak and there and not very, not very nice in terms of those shameful thoughts? Well, that's actually a 2-day workshop that I teach sometimes. So we're going to just take one of the techniques from there that's something that's really useful and quick to do. What does shame do? So shame makes us feel quite small. Shame says I am bad, doesn't it? It's the emotion that doesn't say we did something bad, that's guilt. It says I am bad. And when we think about our kind of sexuality, and in particular things about our fantasies, which is what we're going to be looking and talking about today, is that people often feel bad about simply having thoughts in their head because they're told that they're dirty, they're wrong. We've all heard all this stuff, haven't we? People shouldn't think about these things, nice girls don't think about that. Dirty thoughts, we've all heard it, I had such dirty thoughts, that's a dirty thing to do, all of these kinds of things. Which, unless it's being said to us in an erotic way, isn't a very nice thing to hear, is it, So, what do we do with that? Because we have that voice in our head, doesn't it, that berates us, tells us that we're no good, tells us that, you know, somehow we're doing something bad by having these thoughts or feelings. So we need to kind of tell it to fuck off, basically. We need to get it to do one. The best way to do that is to actually use something called the ridiculous factor. So if you all got a person in your life that it doesn't matter what they told you, there's just no way on this earth you could take them seriously. See some of you smiling. Or if there's something was said to you in a particular voice, you couldn't take them seriously. So the ones that have come up recently in my clinic are the usual ones like Donald Duck and Mickey Mouse. Janice from Friends has come up loads recently. I don't really know why. You know, depending on what your political aspirations are, it might be somebody, one of those that you can't take seriously. But if you try this now, what if you think about a saying that you say to yourself or you said to yourself that's telling you off, that's telling you that you're not good enough or that you've done something wrong, or the voice that you use or pops into your head that kind of, you know, tells you that you're just not good enough. If we all got that, if you just imagine that, those words or what that says, and I want you to change it in your mind to a voice that you cannot take seriously, and say the same thing, or notice what happens. It starts to become funny. Yeah? And it's such a simple thing to do, but when we do this, especially if it's about kind of sexual thoughts that we may have, because of course we can have sexual thoughts, of course we can have fantasies, of course we can have the wildest fantasies that are full of taboo subjects if we want, because they're just thoughts. We don't have the thought police. This isn't the Matrix. This is life in 2024, where we can think what we like. We can enjoy those thoughts as much as we want to, and it doesn't mean that we're going to do anything with those thoughts. And sometimes it means that those thoughts could never happen. If you're a person that likes to fantasize about being, I don't know, alien invasion and being penetrated by alien tentacles, the chances of that really happening to you are really quite slim. So you can have these thoughts, it's okay. And I do get clients that will come to me telling me that they're having thoughts that they're ashamed about, and I'm like, they're just thoughts. And then actually, the worst thing you can do with a thought that you're worried about is try not to think about it. If I said to you now, don't think about a pink elephant in blue pajamas, what do you do?
Chris.
Yeah. And it's probably dancing, yeah?
Who told you?
To read your mind, I'm a hypnotist, right? It's amazing how many people think I can actually do that, which is, I can't, just for the record, your thoughts are safe. But it's one of those things where if you try not to think about something, it kind of comes back and back and back. So the best thing you can do is to actually think about it, decide what you want to do with that thought, whether you want to go down that path of that thought and explore it, maybe be curious about it, enjoy it, or think actually that thought's not for me, I'm going to think about something else instead, and then actually choose what you're going to think about. And that can be, even if you're just anxious about something generally that's happening maybe at work or at college or in your relationship, is just to, you know, think about it if you need to and then move it somewhere else. And if it's an erotic thought, who's going to know? I mean, I'm flying tomorrow back 12 hours back to the UK. My mind will be full of amazing thoughts, because what else are you going to do with that long on a plane, you know? We can think about whatever we like. The person next to me is not going to know. It's okay. Okay. The other thing that stops people, that stops people kind of accessing their pleasure is just this fear of, if I said to people, enjoy your fantasies, and they'll say, oh, I've not got a very good imagination. And what they actually mean is I'm worried or concerned that my thoughts and fantasies aren't good enough. It doesn't matter what your fantasies and thoughts are, they're yours. And if you like them, it doesn't matter what anybody else has got to say about them. And I think this partly comes from things like the internet, that I've got all these amazing kinds of fantasies, but actually they're becoming more and more extreme. And sometimes we want to just think about the person, I don't know, the person that works in the bakery that we find kind of hot. We might want to just think about that. It doesn't have to be anything too wild, or it can be something that's really wild and something that you would never do. It can be all of those things. And that's what's so awesome about hypnosis, is that you can really explore all of these things fully without actually having to do anything, because it's all in the privacy of your own mind. Also means things stay clean, nothing goes squelch. You know, you can have like this awesome, and you can have it how you want it to be, because one of the things sometimes with fantasies is that people will step out of the fantasy into the reality of it, and it wasn't what they thought it would be. So in the privacy of your mind, it's always what you want it to be, because you're completely in control of your mind. Which is awesome, because you get to control absolutely everything, even if your fantasy is about not being in control. You can, you know, you can be as little or as much in control in that fantasy as you might want to be. It's kind of fun, isn't it? The other thing to remember about shame, almost all shame is learned. So somebody taught it to you, or society dictated it to you, or the other million places that shame came from. The other cool thing is about shame is, unless you murdered somebody, the chances are your shame is completely misplaced. I would say 99.9% of the shame that I see that really holds people back in all aspects of their lives, especially sexually, is completely misplaced. It's because they got a piece of really crap information, it went zip into their head, became part of their belief system, even though they know it's not true. And this is what's really interesting when we have a belief that something is bad or wrong, or they are bad or wrong, even when they know they're not. It's when what we know and what we believe come into conflict, weirdly, what we believe will always win. So this is about letting go of the shame to change that belief that a person isn't bad, actually they're just pretty normal, and the things that they like and enjoy don't actually have to fit a norm, don't actually have to fit, you know, the vanilla version of sex especially. My personal belief is that probably nobody is truly vanilla. Most people have got some kinks and flourishes, but most people have it shamed out of them, or they're worried about what other people will think, or how other people might react, or what the neighbours might say. How the neighbours will ever know unless you tell them, I don't know, but people worry about this stuff. Okay. So what I'm going to do is do a few different kinds of experiences. So we can do some group experiences, I can do some demonstrations if you would like. Really about kind of getting into that mind space, first and foremost with a trance state, a hypnotic state. They come in many levels, so you know, it's as simple as closing your eyes. You don't have to be kind of walking out with your arms like this and able to feel anything or unable to speak. You know, that's some of the myths around hypnosis. Hypnosis is really about empowering people, not controlling people. Otherwise I'd be ruling the world by now, as with Greg and all the other hypnotists in the world, and most of us are just happily doing our jobs, trying to help people. So, but you can, you know, people will say you can't be made to do anything in hypnosis that you don't want to do. And that's true, but only in the same way that in life you can't be made to do anything you don't want to do. We are all able to be persuaded, so you know that hypnosis doesn't mean that changes anything. It just means that, you know, we're no more malleable or persuadable in hypnosis than out of it. We are, however, more suggestible, but we won't kind of react to a suggestion if we don't want to. So it's not like you become an empty-headed, mindless drone, as lovely as that sounds. You know, that can't think for yourself. So you can still say no in hypnosis. It's important that you do. And you can also say yes very enthusiastically, which is what we like with consent. So, you know, just be aware of those things. But sometimes people are worried about somehow hypnosis is mind control, you know, no more than advertising is, or, you know, anything else that we see in our day-to-day lives, or but it is a powerful tool that allows us to access some cool mind states. The other cool thing is that arousal, sexual arousal, and even sex, we're in a trance state anyway. So if we can get into different kinds of trance states, we essentially move from one different trance state to another as we move through life. If you drove here this evening, the chances are you probably experienced something called highway trance, where you drive from A to B, you get to B and you think, how did I get to B? Because you're kind of on autopilot. If you're a gamer, you sit kind of gaming, suddenly you realise an hour and a half has passed by, you thought it was 5 minutes. It's just a focused state of concentration. Anything that we do that way, if you listen to music, we often go into kind of music trance states, don't we, where we feel the music in our bodies and all kinds of cool stuff. All of these things, I might add, can be amplified massively with hypnosis, which is kind of cool. If you have a look actually on my YouTube channel, there's one on there called Musical Triggers, where we've got music bouncing through somebody's body and they can feel it in all kinds of different ways, which is kind of fun. So all kinds of cool things that we can do with hypnosis. Being curious about our fantasies, and this is the other thing, is absolutely normal. Being curious about sex, being curious about exploring different kinds of fantasies, different kinds of role plays. Fantasy is normal. We all started having fantasies when we were this big. We were superheroes, princesses, rock stars, all of that kind of stuff, although let's pretend. And guess what? As we mature and become adults, so do our fantasies. And it makes sense that as we mature into sexual beings, that our fantasies will also become more sexual. And that is all that is. That's all the fantasy is just the grown-up version of the let's pretend and all the wonderful things that we did as a kid. And if you see a kid playing and looking at all their different fantasies in terms of, they believe they're the princess, they're having a whale of a time. And one of the things that we forget to do sometimes as adults is play, isn't it? Is to just get into those headspaces, enjoy the world, imagine what things could be like. It's interesting, erotic hypnosis had a massive surge in popularity during the pandemic because everybody was locked inside, nobody could touch each other, and people could access things online. It was this booming industry during lockdown, which was kind of interesting, but makes perfect sense. So, knowing that your fantasies are normal, I would love to take you to your mind castle. Did you know you've got a mind castle? Do you like the sound of a mind castle? Yeah, we've all got one. So what I'll do is I will do that. If I may, can I pop you up here and just so we've got just for demonstration purposes. And then what I'll do is I'll invite those of you who want to enjoy your own mind castle. You can just close your eyes and enjoy this journey. And for those of you that just want to watch, then you can do that too. So you can do whatever kind of fits. So imagine, obviously I'm British, so I love castles. We all live in a castle in Britain, right? But what you can imagine, you've got a castle that's got corridors. It's maybe got lanterns and torches burning, all kinds of stuff. So I'm just going to invite you just to take a nice, comfortable breath in for me. And then as you breathe out, you can just close your eyes. That's wonderful. And just spending a moment or two just focusing on your breathing. And one of the really wonderful things is that if you simply allow yourself to breathe out for longer than you breathe in, it sends a very clear signal to your vagus nerve that all is well. Just breathing out for longer than you breathe in, and very soon you'll noticing that feeling of calm moving down through your body. And as I count down from 5 down to 1, with each number between 5 down to 0, you can feel that calm comfort just doubling down with each number. All parts comfortable and relaxed. No, that's right. Deeper and deeper and deeper. 5, dropping down, drifting, just noticing all the comfort within your body. 4, releasing, relaxing. 3, 2, 1. That's right. drifting off to a wonderful, comfortable place in your mind. Now, the wonderful thing about hypnosis is that some people see things, some people feel things, some people just imagine or experience things, and all of them work just as well as each other. Now, I want you to imagine, in the distance, you can see the most magnificent castle. Your castle might be like a Disney castle or a medieval castle, it doesn't matter. But notice as you look out towards that castle that you feel a wonderful sense of anticipation and excitement, a real curiosity of what you might find in there. And you can allow yourself to begin to imagine that you can walk towards that castle. And perhaps there's a gate or a portcullis that swings open upon your arrival. And you can imagine just what's inside waiting for you. This is your erotic mind castle that is filled with your fantasies, your desires, your wants, your needs. It is perfectly set up for you. Each room has the most wonderful, exciting things that perhaps you haven't even thought of yet. So step inside and notice a magnificent hallway, perhaps with a marble floor, a fountain. Notice the colours, a wonderful erotic artwork upon the walls, depicting things you love and enjoy to think about. That's right, the sirens just sending you deeper and deeper and deeper. Everything calmer, everything comfortable. And as they pass away, just feel yourself relaxing even more. That's right. Now noticing that wonderful feeling, that curiosity of wondering where you might like to go inside of your mind castle. Your mind will know exactly where to take you. The thing that you want or need to experience, to discover. Your mind castle is full of wonderful rooms, nooks, crannies, snooks, filled full of the most amazing objects, artifacts, all of them sensuous, sumptuous, all of them appeal to you, to your likes, your desires. Even your darkest desires have a wonderful room. So allow yourself now to travel down those corridors until you find a room that appeals to you, that draws you in, that you feel an intense desire and curiosity to go over the threshold of that door. And when you found that there, taking all the time that you need, you can just let me know, just with a nod of your head. That's right. A wonderful door, beckoning you closer, beckoning you to discover what lies behind it. We've got that done? Yeah? Awesome. Notice a feel of excited anticipation moving up through your body. You know this whole mind castle has been created by your mind. And this is a safe place. A safe and exciting place. So allow yourself to open that door, to go across that threshold, and to noticing what you find and see. Now I'm not going to ask you what you find in there, that's the privacy of your own mind. But I can guarantee it will be wonderful, amazing, glorious, sensuous, exactly what you need right now. And again, the sirens in the background just take you deeper into this wonderful feeling, a feeling of safety and protection. That's right, down and down in that wonderful room. Does it feel good in there? Notice now, the more you noticing what's in that room. Every time you notice something, that feeling, that wonderful feeling, that feeling of pleasure within it, doubles each time you notice. Notice the more you look around that room, the more intense that feeling of pleasure becomes, such a wonderful feeling, allowing you to explore that fantasy, that world, that private place within. That's right. How's that feeling? That feeling good? Now know that you can bring this feeling back out of the mind castle. And as we begin now to move back out of the mind castle, notice as you walk down the corridors, there's so many doors that you're curious to come back and explore. There's so many little nooks and crannies that seem inviting, curious, a little naughty perhaps. And you can just linger near some of them, perhaps deciding where you'll go next. Upon your return, knowing you can access this mind castle filled with fantasies, filled with experiences, filled with past memories, wonderful, sensuous past memories, and glorious things that are yet to occur. Now you can come back here anytime you choose. As you begin now just to move away from the mind castle, feeling the door or the portcullis closing behind, but bringing with you all those wonderful sensual feelings. Feeling good about feeling good. That's right. Now in a moment, you'll hear me count. From 1 to 10, count of 8, you can open your eyes, a count of 10, fully awake, alert, feeling fine, feeling good. So ready. 1, 2, 3, lighter and lighter, 4, 5, 6, brighter, 7, 8, eyes opening up. That's wonderful, well done. 9, 10, how are you doing? Yeah, are you happy? How did that feel for you, if you're happy to share?
Wonderful.
You feel
very calm, relaxed.
Yeah.
I have a great imagination.
Imagination is amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. Well, you know, if we can, what's the phrase? I think is it, if we can dream it, we can make it happen, or something like that. Or yeah. So it's just nice. Does everybody else have a nice little mind castle going on, or just watching it? Kind of just fun, isn't it? Okay. Oh, that. Yeah. Thank you so much, and your lovely furry boots as well. Awesome. Okay. So that you can do that. I go visiting my mind castle all over, and you know, you've only got to walk around an amazing shop like this to get lots of inspiration of the different kind of rooms you could have in your mind castle. You know, I've got lingerie room, you could have a toy room, there's all kinds of sensual smells and things over there. You could have a dungeon like there is up there, you know, you could have like an amazing food restaurant like they've got next door. I ate there last night actually, it was amazing, you should definitely go. And all kinds of cool stuff. So the sky's the limit. In fact, the sky's not even the limit really, is it with this? It's your imagination, and you can go to another universe if you want to, which is kind of cool. Amazing things can happen in alternate universes. You can do things that you would never do in this one. That's kind of a favourite one. Okay. So, let me just see where we are time-wise, because, we're doing 5. Oh, we've got lots of time to play. That's wonderful. All right. So, anything goes in our minds. It doesn't matter what it is. You don't have to share it. But the really cool thing is, if you ever need to give yourself permission to have these thoughts and fantasies are essential to our eroticism. I know I've already said that, but I want to keep saying that because fantasies are essential to our eroticism. Without them, we don't have our eroticism. So, fantasize away, which is kind of cool. Okay. So hypnosis is like a super highway to enhancing our fantasies. That's just one little example, the mind castle. But we can do much more kind of physical, energetic things with hypnosis. Have any of you got any experience with hypnosis or erotic hypnosis? Some? Yeah, some. Cool. What kinds of things have you experienced in the past or seen being done in the past?
Could you explain a little bit?
Okay, what kinds of things, or what have you seen people do with hypnosis in the past that's appealed? It doesn't have to be a personal story, it could just be, we can talk in the third person, that's absolutely fine.
It's just really relaxing.
Really relaxing. Yeah. Freeing, yeah, absolutely. I did a class actually last week in one of the dungeons, which was about, we did hypnosis combined with rope, so tying the body and freeing the mind, which was a lot of fun. We did rope without rope, so we used hypnotic rope rather than, because you can stick somebody to a chair with hypnosis and you don't actually need any rope, which is kind of cool. And then we did like a hypno rope trance kind of thing, which is kind of cool. So you can combine hypnosis erotically with all kinds of stuff, and it's really good if you're kind of in the BDSM community. I've seen people do things like where they're spanking and flogging, but they can change the sensation, or they can delay the sensation, or they can spank somebody without actually spanking them, but they can get the feeling if they know what that feels like. Turning, hypno dials up and down with intensity, all kinds of really cool and interesting stuff. I'm a sensualist essentially, so I'm much more about filling the body up with different kinds of sensations. We're going to have a play with some of those if I've got any more. I was going to say willing victims, but of course I mean volunteers, don't I? But there's lots that we can do with all of that. One of the coolest ones I normally start off with, and I use this sometimes as an erotic thing and sometimes as a therapeutic thing, is to help people access what I call their ember within. And that's imagining that we all have a tiny flicker, an ember of eroticism that resides within us at all times. It's our eroticism, our libido is never totally down and out. Even when we feel really on a low ebb sometimes, and we all have those times in our lives, don't we, where we're just not feeling very good really, feel a bit kind of flat and low, but our ember is still there, even if it's just a tiny, tiny glow. And this is really about how to take that into kind of a bit of an inferno in our bodies, an erotic inferno in our bodies, and filling it up through our bodies, which is kind of cool, isn't it? Would anybody be a willing participant to be a demonstration as I do that? Anybody fancy feeling their ember within get brighter or lighter? No? You don't have to say yes just because you suggested
I'm just
that.
trying to get someone else.
Well, you drove 4 hours to be here. Yeah, do you want to come on?
She's smiling with love.
So everybody responds to this differently. Some people it's a very outward thing, some people it's a very internal thing. There's no right or wrong way. Have I seen here? What's your name?
Joy.
Joy. What a beautiful name, Joy. Am I right to touch you on the back of your neck, your
Yes.
shoulders, your hand if I need to? Know that you'll be nice and safe on this chair at all times. You won't fall off or anything like that. You'll be steady as a rock on the chair. All right. And you're happy? Are you happy with me to talk about arousal and those kinds of feelings inside of your body?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't mean you necessarily feel them, but I want to make sure that if I'm suggesting things that you're only happy with, so we can just talk pleasure if you yeah.
No,
Okay. So you'll just feel what you feel. Okay.
Okay.
Have you been hypnotised before?
No.
Okay. So what do you think might happen when you go into hypnosis? I wonder.
I'm gonna be really.
It's exciting.
I know. It's crazy. I'm gonna be really in a suggestive state. I mean, I'm gonna be relaxed.
Relaxed. Yeah. So relax.
Present.
Be present. Absolutely. Very aware of what's going around. Yeah. People are often very surprised that you are awake and aware of what's going on all around you. It's a really lovely feeling. It's going to feel amazing. Just go with the flow. You can't do it wrong. It's for me to adapt to you, not the other way around. So that's good. You can come and do this. I can't do anything wrong. So that's even awesome.
Okay.
And we'll just kind of flow and see where it takes us. There's no right or wrong outcome either. Okay?
Okay.
Now the really cool thing is, Joy, is that
Okay.
some people laugh themselves into hypnosis. And if
Okay.
you're a
That
laugher,
might be me.
you can laugh hysterically into hypnosis, which is kind of cool, isn't it?
Okay.
So we can feel the joy, right? Absolutely. All right, do you want to look at my hand here? Okay, so just keep looking there. That's right. Pick a spot, keep looking. That's right. Already you can feel your eyes blinking. That's right. Eyelids feeling heavier and heavier and heavier. Keep looking, keep looking, keep looking. That's right. That's wonderful. Well done. That's right. That's right. You can just close your eyes. Down, drifting, dreaming, floating, relaxing, letting go. Just feeling a wonderful sensation moving down through your body and mind. All troubles, all stresses from the day just melting away. That's right, just taking hold of your wrist. As I drop it down, just going 10 times deeper relaxed. Now that's right, just feeling that wonderful, wonderful feeling coming around your other side now. That's right, dropping that hand down 10 times deeper relaxed. That's right, drifting, dreaming down and down and down. Such a wonderful feeling, isn't it? Just to float, nothing to bother you, nothing to trouble you, nobody wanting anything from you. All you need to do is relax, let go, floating down and down and down. Now in a wonderful moment, you're going to feel me just tap you on the shoulder like this. So when I tap you on the shoulder like this, you can just go 10 times deeper down into this wonderful state of hypnosis. That's right, drifting, dreaming, floating. Drifting, dreaming, floating. Deeper and deeper. And at any point, just here tonight for this demonstration, every time I tap you on the shoulder, you can feel yourself going deeper and deeper and deeper down, knowing that you are perfectly safe on this checklist. So good, so wonderful, so amazing. Now joy, lovely joy. I want you to imagine that deep down inside of you there is a beautiful flickering ember, an ember of pleasure, a desire, or arousal, just a tiny, tiny ember. And when you can sense, see, feel, or imagine that ember within joy, you can just let me know, just by saying the word yes. Wonderful, well done. Now, noticing. The more you notice that ember, it moves from a flickering ember into a glowing ember. ember that's pulsing with every single one of your breaths. Every time you breathe in, you feel it, sense it, see it, imagine it glowing brighter and calming down again and glowing brighter and calming down again. It feels so good to notice that ember of pleasure deep down inside that's always there with you. Wherever you go, even whilst you're sleeping, it's there. Now notice the more you noticing that ember, the more you direct your breath down to that ember, the brighter it becomes until soon bursts into a beautiful, dancing, playful, flickering flame inside. Feel it now. Isn't that wonderful? A beautiful, dancing, flickering flame inside. Very playful. And that playful, flickering flame inside. Notice it get bigger now. Perhaps it morphs into a sphere, a wonderful sphere of pleasure inside. Maybe that playfulness turns into a sphere of arousal inside. You know, that wonderful feeling of arousal. It just makes us feel so good. Can you sense that though? Wonderful. And notice what happens if it spins. That sphere of pleasure, that sphere of arousal spins a little inside, and watch, as it spins, it starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, spinning bigger and bigger and bigger. That's right. Until it fills up the whole of your abdomen, in fact, the whole of your body, perhaps even bigger than your body, spinning that wonderful energy, the sirens in the background just telling you how amazing. Maybe they've come to put out a fire inside. Spinning bigger and bigger and bigger. Feel it. Sink into the feeling now. Sink into that arousal. Sink into that joy. It's so beautiful. Filling you up. So warm, so playful, so sensual, so arousing, so wonderful. Feel it filling up your body. That's right. You sink deeper and deeper and deeper. You can breathe it in now. It's outside of you. Breathe in that aroused energy. Breathe it into your body, filling up your lungs, your bloodstream. That wonderful feeling of arousal. Feel it. Filling you up, breathing it in, more and more profound, more and more strong, more and more wonderful, all with the power of your amazing mind. Feel it moving through you, however you want to experience it. Notice how amazing does that feel? How glorious does that feel? That's right. Bask in that wonderful feeling within. That's right. That's right. Just noticing it. And know that's your ember. And it can become just as big and pleasure-filled as you want. And noticing it now. It's shrinking down. Leaving behind this wonderful tingle, this wonderful residue, this wonderful feeling inside. That's right. Down, 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 back down. Down to that spinning sphere, down to that ember inside. To that little glowing ember within. And know, Joy, whenever you choose to say the word ember within your mind, you can feel that feeling inside. A wonderful rush of pleasure. Whenever you choose to say to your own mind that feeling, that the word ember, You can feel that feeling inside whenever you choose, whenever you say to yourself the word end. That's right, you can feel it, you can sense it, you can enjoy that sensation in the privacy of your own mind and body, and it will feel really good. So in a moment, joy. You'll hear me count from 1 to 10 at the count of 8. You can open your eyes at count of 10, fully awake, fully alert, feeling fine, feeling good. So ready. 1, 2, 3, lighter and lighter, 4, 5, 6, brighter, 7, 8, eyes opening, up, oh, nice big stretch, 9, 10, back again.
Get that smile.
That really nice. Are you happy to, how did you experience that? How did you experience that? It's different for everybody.
Well, first I felt it more on my chest
Mm-hmm.
before it moved down and just throughout. I felt like it started here and then it went sort of like whoosh.
Wow. I like a whoosh. A whoosh on a Thursday night. Oh, it's Wednesday night, isn't it? A whoosh on a Wednesday night is even better. In a
Sunday.
Wednesday, yeah. That's awesome. Cool. Thank you so much. Any, yeah, if you're happy to come back again in a bit, please welcome back again. Any questions about any of that so far? It's quite cool, the power of the mind, isn't it? You cannot think yourself through to an orgasm, do you know that? Quite cool. It's quite a cool thing to learn how to do.
What's the difference between EMDR and hypnotherapy?
Okay, that's a really cool question. So EMDR is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, where you, well, either way I do it is I use finger movements, so eye movements, so I usually use my fingers or I use sound as well, and I use taps, but it's the premise behind it was by a lady called Francine Shapiro, I think, who was really looking at the 2 hemispheres of the brain, bringing something forward, so that's why they would look at something usually like a flashback with PTSD, and then they will process it by processing it left to right. With hypnotherapy, we're using a trance state. Interestingly, most people who go into hypnosis get REM movement, which is the same thing as you would see in EMDR, but we can do lots of different things within it. So I guess I would say the applications of hypnotherapy are broader than those of EMDR. EMDR is usually about processing something, where hypnosis and hypnotherapy are also about processing something, maybe with trauma, but it's also about enhancing stuff. So the really cool thing about hypnosis is that it can make amazing stuff really awesome, whereas EMDR is normally about taking away things like anxiety or trauma, both of which are awesome, but just in different ways. So yes, I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah. Yeah, it's cool. Both are really effective. EMDR is the gold standard for PTSD, so across the world. So it's a super effective method. Yeah, cool. Any more questions, thoughts? Who wants to see some more hypnosis then? Have we got anybody else that might want to play? I'll tell you what. There's lots of things that we could do. I always kind of pick what I'm going to do when I meet a crowd, because then we're matching it to you rather than getting you up to match it into me. Is there anybody who's had thought, I would really love to experience with hypnosis? Has anybody seen anything? Oh, that would be really cool. Oh, I get to pick then. Awesome. Okay, so how would somebody feel about folding their arousal inwardsly, like a piece of paper? So if you imagine you had arousal or an orgasm, and you could fold it in and it would become twice as more intense, and you could fold it in again, it would become twice as more intense, and you could fold it in again and twice. Would anybody be interested in experiencing something like that? Would you like to come on up?
Yeah.
Thank you for volunteering. And your name is?
Lucian. Lucian?
Lucian. I'm a bit deaf and British, so Lucian. That's a cool name.
Thank you. Chose it myself.
Right then, Lucian. So, are you happy for me to touch you? Yeah. Cool. All right. Do you have you been into hypnosis before?
Kind of like not like officially in like the official sense going to a place that is like a therapist, but just casually.
Casual
Yeah.
hypnosis, we like that.
Yeah.
Casual hypnosis. There's lots of cool casual hypnosis on YouTube and cool places like that, isn't there? And all kinds of places actually. All right. So while you've been doing your casual hypnosis, was there a way in which you like to go into hypnosis more than others? Is some ways that appeal to you more?
Well, it's really funny because I'm really into fandom, and in fandom spaces, like we can like role play as characters. So it's often within writing that I find that like transcendental kind of stuff. So.
Okay. So are you a writer as well? Awesome. Okay. So let me. I can do something with that if you'd like to go into that kind of. Okay. So this is where hypnosis is so cool because you can take. So you know the concept we're going to kind of folding, arousal, or orgasm, or whatever it is that you choose, which is cool. But we can really make it match a person rather than trying to make a person match a thing. And this is what I love about hypnosis. Okay then, Lucia. So what I'm going to get you to do for me is take a nice deep breath in. And then as you breathe out, you can just close your eyes. That's right. And you can just allow yourself just to drift, to dream, to float, to relax down. That's right. Now I know that you're an amazing writer. You enjoy writing all that wonderful fandom. And you can just go into that place. You can allow your mind to take you to that place where you're in that writing flow. You're in that kind of trance state that feels so good. Where it's as if probably your mind and your fingers, when you're typing, you're actually writing, you're drawing as you were before. But everything is in that state of flow. It feels so good to be in that state of flow. And as I count down from 10 all the way down to 0, you can imagine yourself going deeper into that state of flow, where each number takes you deeper than the number before, where you just forget everything that's going on around you. You're just completely focused into that flow. And this time, as I count down, you can imagine that you're perhaps writing about the most amazing, arousing, wonderful things that you can imagine in your body. That's right, just writing about the most amazing, wonderful things that you can imagine in your body. And no, nobody's going to read this piece of work unless you show it to them. So you can be really open and honest about all those amazing things. And as I count down, as you write, filling all those gaps, write down all those amazing things, as I count down, you'll notice whatever you're writing, you're going to start to feel in your body. Imagine that you're writing it perhaps on a screen or on pages. The more you write it, the more you feel it as I count down, so 10. Feeling every word that you write and how amazing that feels within your mind and in your body. 9. Noticing how good that feels. Noticing how amazing that feels, you start to write faster. 8. Faster still. Perhaps wondering if you've ever written so fast. It feels so good to write these things, doesn't it? To put these things down, to feel everything that you're writing, and it's making the most amazing story. 7, deeper still. 6, more and more into this wonderful deep trance state now. 5, 4, feeling every word, falling into every word, experiencing every word. Your mind is amazing with the things that it creates. 2, deeper still. 1, down and down and down, down to 0. That's quite a story there before you, isn't it? Now I wonder what would happen I wonder just how much more intense those feelings would be if you could either turn the pages of the book or print them out one by one. And every time you turn the page or printed one out, you just feel, those sensations doubling down. And as they're doubling down, they become more concentrated, more intense, more profound, more wonderful through your body. If you turn the next page or print out the next sheet. Feeling it doubling down, becoming more intense, noticing it moving through your body. However you experience it, you experience it. More focused inwards. Notice where you feel it, how you feel it, how intense it is that you feel it. Feel it moving through your body and mind. And then there's the next page or the next printout. 10 times more intense, 10 times more profound feelings. This is the best story ever. This is your story, a story of your arousal, this wonderful writing state that feels so good. The next page, feel it. Doesn't it feel wonderful? You feel amazing? Imagine you can pick up those pieces of paper or that writing. Imagine you can bring it closer to you, and the closer you bring it to you, the more intensely you feel it. The more profound it becomes, the more wonderful it feels. Just words. Words are powerful, I think. Words today are very powerful, very erotic, very wonderful, very arousing, very pleasure-filled, super intense, in the most delicious way. Allow yourself to imagine how you can fall into that book. You can fall into those words. You can feel it so intense, so wonderfully empowered. You can feel it moving through your body, top of your head to the tips of your toes, more and more with every breath. Moving closer. Internalize that story. Bring it back into your body, back into your mind. Feel the power, the strength. Feel how much energy it's collected. Feel that in your body spreading out from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. Feel its vibration, its energy. Feels so good now, doesn't it? So wonderful. And just allow yourself to enjoy those feelings, enjoy those sensations. That's right, just beautiful now. Wonderful, well done. Now in a moment, a wonderful moment, you can hear me count up from 1 to 10, count of 8, your eyes will open, the count of 10, fully awake, bringing back with you whatever it is you want to bring back with you from that experience, that story. That's right. Maybe there's a story about this story, I don't know. But noticing when you choose, writing is a great pleasure to you even more now, more than it ever was. A wonderful feeling, a wonderful sensation. So as I count up, at the count of 8, you can open your eyes, at the count of 10, fully awake, alert, feeling fine, feeling good. So ready, 1, 2, 3, lighter and lighter, 4, 5, 6, brighter, 7, 8, eyes opening up, 9, 10. Woo! How's that?
How, like, fire, like, from down here, like, the top of my hands.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
It's really cool though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you close your eyes now and just kind of think about that feeling, you'll noticing. If you want to, if you're happy to, you can actually just think about it. You know it's there already, yeah?
I can still, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Did it feel good? You wanna,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, well hold on to the good feelings. You want to hold on to the good feelings?
Absolutely. Whoa. Yeah. I've written a lot of things, but not that.
Maybe you should.
Maybe. Definitely will now.
I bet it will feel good.
Oh, probably. Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely. Awesome.
Thank you.
That is a cool thing with hypnosis, is that you can make things that you don't like to do. If you're, I know people that are in kind of DS dynamics that use hypnosis that will hypnotise their partner with consent to make things that they don't like to do feel happier, like washing up and all of that kind of stuff. So, you know, so you get great joys of suds or whatever it might be. But, you know, kind of a little happy little house elf. Who knows? Yeah. So, okay. I notice it's 8:05. Does anybody just need 5 minutes just to stretch their legs, have a bathroom break, just take 5 minutes and then we'll come back, do some more fun hypnosis? Yeah? Yeah, is that okay? So it's 5 past, so we'll start again at 10 past. Any requests about what you might like to see with hypnosis, please let me know. But I've got a whole list to keep you occupied. Is there anywhere I can get some water from? That's one thing I forgot to pick up. It's always good to get up and move, isn't it, on these chairs? Especially if I'm like stick somebody to one with. Yeah, it's really useful. Body dysmorphia depends how bad it is, and depends on who's doing the hypnosis. So if I was working with body dysmorphia, it wouldn't be somebody that say is really wanting to do something really aggressive to their body. I would be fed to psychologists or psychiatrists. But certainly kind of where a lot of body shame is, then it's really cool. One of the things, well, there's lots of things we can do, but one of the things I do with people with that is we move the shame around their body, and then we move it to a place like onto a piece of their clothing, and then we can take it off. Because we get into that place where we've learned the shame, so we can unlearn the shame, and it's really interesting how that works. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was really looking into EMDR for a while, and I'm still looking.
It's an awesome technique.
Yeah, but it's just cool to know there are other options as well.
Yeah.
It's just so hard to find like insurance covering things to begin with, and then add that to something that you're compatible with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So the more
Yeah.
options, the better, honestly. That's why I'm curious.
Yeah. I mean, your sport for choice, people around here,
Right.
but the insurance thing is often the stickler. And psychologists are amazing,
Yeah.
but they're often not hypnotists. So it's what, it's one of those odd things that some will cover, some won't. Just depends. I the other issue I would be kind of with the NHS, so people used to get free healthcare.
Yeah, I know. we were just visiting there, and like, oh my gosh, this product needs to be done.
It has its drawbacks. It is amazing.
Yeah.
It is amazing. A friend of mine just had a baby. Then it occurred to me that I was paying to have a baby. That just blew my mind. She told me how much that costs. But, just said it was something like, it seemed like ridiculous, like $100,000 or something. Yeah. That blew my mind.
I know. You wouldn't think that would even be a thing, but yeah.
Yeah, so just said that it cost them $500 to be taken to hospital or something.
It's really dark.
But every country has its good points and its bad points, doesn't it? So.
Well, thank you so much for doing this.
It was my pleasure. I was over here, so Kaz was like, yeah, I'm having. So.
Yeah. Well, not always long.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely fine.
Either way. I really like the
Yeah, there's some cool things.
You said you can use it as well, right?
I do, yeah. It's well, on that card there's the card again. There's a QR code. You do that, it'll access all of that. There is some free stuff on there, which is for all the there's a lot of free downloads to my book. You can just access all of those really cool things in there as well, including the Ember Within. There's a mind castle recording in there. So you can access that. It will ask for your email address, but you can opt out. It's not one for. I send people lots of emails a year when I've got something to tell them, but it drives me insane when I get to marketing
You don't
emails.
strike me as someone who would send 1,000.
No.
Yeah.
No. People keep telling me I should, but I know that's not the way. Not the right, never have, never will.
Well, I'll check it out.
Cool. Okay, I will. So ready, we'll get started again in just a mo. Unless there's a queue for the bathroom, which one of the questions that was just kind of asked of me is where can people learn how to do hypnosis? There are lots of places, but a great place to start is actually YouTube. There are hundreds of kind of hypnosis demos, right the way through from kind of basic hypnosis, just inductions. You can hypnotize somebody using absolutely anything. There are there's lots that you can learn for free. So, and then there are courses and classes that you can go on. There are basic hypnosis courses, there's clinical courses, there are several erotic hypnosis conventions in the US. The biggest one is in Baltimore, which is called Charmed. There's one in Chicago that's changed its name a lot, but I think it's called Beguiled or something like that. At the moment, in Trance perhaps. There's Mindquake, which is San Francisco way. There's one in Toronto, there's one in the UK, so there are lots that are around. Some of them, I think Charmed is a hybrid one, so you can access it online as well. And they're all, they're all really reasonably priced. So there's a massive erotic hypnosis community that most people never knew existed, which is kind of interesting. So there's lots of places that you can go and learn. There are books that you can get. There is Mark Wiseman's Mind Play book, which is a cool starting place if you're interested in learning how to use these things erotically. I've got a book coming out later this year called The Lantern, but that will be later this year, but Mind Playing is great. And then there's books like this, which is my first book. This is, it's called Woman. It's about female sexuality. It's full of hypnosis. But I always say if you're a smart guy who's interested in women, then you probably read this book too. You can access you can get this on Amazon. I'm not trying to say it, but on the cards that are on your seat, you'll see there is a QR code. If you scan that, you can do that later. It says free stuff, and you can access all the trances that go with that book, which there's one for the Mind Castle, one for the Ember Within, so you can listen to it over and over again. The privacy of your own home and own mind and experience whatever you like. So there's lots of cool stuff that you can access there, absolutely free. And I know I'll send Manny the link so you can send that out with the recording as well, so people can access those if they want to. So, more wonderful hypnotic things. One thing that people always ask me about is the hypnotic orgasm. That is a very easy, simple thing to do, and there are many ways of going about that. So you can do like the old stage hypnotists do, where you can hypnotise somebody and then just every time you shake my hand, you'll have an amazing orgasm. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But you can also use it in other ways, where if you've got somebody, either yourself or a partner or a client who has problems with orgasm, then you can actually help somebody have an orgasm that's never had an orgasm before. And that's a kind of like a mindgasm of what they feel that would be. And that's often to do because they've had all these blocks to pleasure, or they've been trying too hard. So it's a great way of kind of allowing somebody to kind of free up. It's worth noting, and most people don't know this, is, well, let me ask the question, does anybody know the percentage of women who will have an orgasm through penetration alone?
20, right?
18% it is, yeah. Which means 82% of women don't. But I know probably most women feel really bad when they don't, or will have real issues. We're talking just through penetration alone. I think that the orgasmic capacity of women is much higher than that, but it's a lot about kind of filling our bodies up with our eroticism first. And this is where we're down the road. Hollywood has got a lot to answer for about how sex is shown to us, pornography. Most people get their sex ed now from the internet, which is probably better than what we got at schools, but still isn't great. It still doesn't give us the right information. Things like the clitoris, still most women don't know what they look like. I'm going to say I've got mine with me, funnily enough. I've got a model of one with me that you can have a look at. If you don't know what that looks like, I'll get that out at the end. Standing joke in my house is my husband will ask me most mornings, have you remembered to take your clitoris to work with you today? Usually I do. You can see a picture of one here on here actually. It's about the size of the palm of a woman's hand, and most people don't realise that. We think it's this little tiny button. It's not, it's much bigger than that, it's much more amazing than that. Anyway, I'm going on a clitoris tangent, so I'll reel myself back in. But in terms of orgasms, we can do cool things with hypnosis as well as giving people orgasms. We can also take them to the edge of an orgasm and hold them there if that's where they want to be. We can also steal people's orgasms, which is kind of fun. I can get people to give me. You can imagine that I'm taking your orgasm, I've got it in my hand now, do you want it back? And they normally say yes. But this is the kind of amazing things that you can do with the power of the mind, and you can see how that would feed eroticism. So this class is about feeding our eroticism. You can start to see how that would be. What I'm going to do with you now is I'm going to invite you, we're going to do what I call the erotic bathtub, which is a lovely kind of group thing that we can do, which is about filling your body. If you imagine your body is a vessel, like a bathtub, and we walk through life filling it up with all kinds of amazing experiences. And our eroticism is about how we move through the world sensually. So our eroticism is really about how we experience the world with all of our senses. So this is what we would call kind of mindfulness. We've heard lots about mindfulness, about being very present in the moment, noticing how things taste if we're eating, so we're not wolfing our food down. Could be like me and Greg last night. We were 2.5 hours in the pleasure bed last night, weren't we? Savouring every single mouthful, and it was delicious. And you can just see immediately, food sounds better, doesn't it? We're savouring every mouthful. If we're listening to music, we're kind of listening to all the different beats and the melodies and how the bass might come in, or it's kind of, any kind of music is kind of like a symphony, isn't it? When we experience it like that, who hears music and tingles sometimes? Get that? Yeah, it's that, we feel it, don't we? It's like, or if we see something that's just astoundingly beautiful, for whatever reason, it could be a person, it could just be a leaf, it could be a sunset, it could be the ocean. All of these things, if we allow ourselves to be very present and kind of absorb them, and just even things like if we shower in the morning, how we feel the water running over our skin, the fluffiness of the towel, the softness of the fabric of our clothes. Even if we're having the shittiest of shit days, if we just allow ourselves to just notice these things, these good things, the fluffiness of your jumper, all of these amazing things, then it allows us to kind of start off with our bathtub half full. So then when it comes to wanting to access our eroticism, we're not going from this big, vast, empty vessel because it's already half full or even fuller. because we're bringing all this stuff in. So it's kind of like sliding into a bath filled with all these wonderful sensual experiences that we can then draw into and share with another person if we want to, or just enjoy ourselves, rather than trying to start from zero. And that's what happens when people lose their eroticism, they're starting from zero. So it allows us to kind of imagine that we can kind of move through the world. So I'm going to ask you just to close your eyes so you can just enjoy that feeling. And we're going to take 2 baths together, which is a bit naughty on a Wednesday night, isn't it? And the first, I was going to close your eyes, just kind of allow yourself just to be settled, be calm, to feel good. And I just want you to imagine this first bath where you think, I'm going to have a bath. You turn on, instead of taps, but we're in America, so we turn on the faucets. And the bath begins to fill, the plug is in. We might throw in some bubble bath or some salts. Make sure it's the right temperature. We can climb in, wash, brush, loofah, washcloth, whatever it might be. Perhaps it's quite systematic. Shoulders, arms, legs. Leap out of the bath. Towel dry, pull out the plug. Hop on, maybe our pajamas, and off we go. Now I want you to imagine that you're getting ready for a delicious soak in a long, welcoming, steamy, hot bath. You put in the plug, you turn on the faucets, and you notice the steam rising up, filling the room. You can feel the warmth on your skin. Perhaps you pick out oils, bubbles, anything else you want to throw in your bath, and you put them all in one by one, watching the water foam, the scents and the smells rising up, filling your nostrils, the sounds of the water as it fills that tub upwards. Perhaps you put on some music, or you throw open the blind, or you close the window, perhaps inviting in sunlight or moonlight, perhaps lighting candles. Watching it fill, adding everything in, and when it's the perfect temperature and the perfect depth, imagine now getting into that bath, sliding down into that bath, and feeling the warm, sensual water that's got all these wonderful suds and scents and smells, enveloping, wrapping around and hugging your skin. Notice how it feels, the different temperatures. Feel every muscle in your body ease into that feeling, that relaxation, that wonderful sensuality that this bath brings. That's right. Notice how good it feels, how wonderful it feels, how warm it feels. And perhaps add in other things. Perhaps noticing you can drop a bath bomb into the water and it fizzes around, tantalizing and tingling on your skin. Perhaps noticing the bubbles pop, releasing wonderful aromas and sensations into the air. Just notice how wonderful, how warm, how sensual, how good and amazing that feels. Notice too, as you now rise up out of the bath, feeling the water droplets fall off your skin. Perhaps wrapping around you the warmest, coziest, snuggliest towel, gently drying all of your skin. Perhaps spending time applying lotion, moisturizer, oil. Just feeling how wonderfully soft and sensuous both your mind and body feel. Perhaps placing on warm pajamas or a robe. And just pulling out the plug, watching the water disappear. And just noticing how good it feels, how amazing it feels, how sensual it feels. Knowing that your bathtub is already filling up for the next time. And you can put in it whatever you want each time. Each bath will be different. Each experience different. But it just feels good to feel good. So in a moment, as I count up from 1 to 5, at the count of 5, eyes open, feeling good, feeling wonderful. So ready, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wakey, wakey, wakey. Relax the bathtub. Who preferred 1 to 2? Nobody. No. There's only a second way. There's only 2, isn't there? We have to be in that central place. So just imagine now that that's your body. If you imagine as you kind of start, even when it's raining outside, I know you don't like the rain here, but you know, it makes stuff grow. But, you know, feel it, you know, it's just amazing, isn't it? Or the wind, or the sunshine, and actually things as simple as that. We're often taught, aren't we, that pleasure and eroticism is either something that somebody gives to us or is permitted to us, or it's something that we somehow have to purchase or buy, when actually it's all around us. That's the whole point about being on the magical mystery tour rather than the stressed out commuter on the train, yeah? It's quite a nice thought really, isn't it? Now, when we look where we are time-wise, we've got about half an hour left. I wonder if somebody might like to experience what it would be if they had a chalice of kind of a love or orgasmic love that we could fill for them in front of them. Would anybody be interested in such a thing? Joy or anybody? You fancy that? I'm imagine I'm going to get you to hold your hands out like this. I'm going to pour all kinds of amazing in. I'm going to mix them up.
Okay.
And then we're going to do something fun with it. Does that sound fun? So this is just, again, just things that you can, the possibilities of erotic hypnosis are endless. I'm just kind of showing you sensation stuff here. I know Manny asked me yesterday if I'd come back and teach other stuff, so write down your list for me of the things you would like to learn, and then I'll come back and show you how to do those things, because there's so much cool stuff you can do. But this lovely lady, lovely Joy here. It's exciting now, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. How would you experience this like? Oh, I want to do this again. Absolutely. Okay. So, let me see. Let's help. Oh, do you see that beautiful light? Well, the dome. I'm assuming there's cameras and stuff in there. I don't know, but it's very shiny. I'm a hypnotist. So I'm like a magpie. We love shiny things. And you're a hypnotic subject, so you now love shiny things because it looks good to look at that, doesn't it? Kind of fascinating to look at all the different reflections. In fact, you can see all kinds of reflections from all over this store that's filled with very magical things. This is like a playground for adults, this store, isn't it? It's full of awesome stuff. Now, I want you to notice right there in the back of there, you can almost see yourself looking back at yourself in there, can't you? You see yourself
I
waving?
have glasses on, I can't see. can't see I can see the ball.
Oh, you can see the ball. Oh,
I
it's
can
okay.
see,
Well,
like-
let's just focus on the ball then. That's what's wonderful about this is we can just look at that ball.
Oh wait, yeah. There's a
Yeah?
string. Okay.
Woo,
Okay.
yeah.
I can't really see, but I see the
So
string.
you can
I
see
the
yourself, so you can watch yourself almost going into hypnosis, which means you'll go twice as deep because you'll be you watching you, watching you, watching you, which will just kind of bounce backwards and forwards into the mirror, which is kind of cool, isn't it? It's quite a crazy concept and thought, and as you watch you, watch you, watch you go deeper and deeper into hypnosis, you'll feel your eyes getting heavier and heavier and heavier, and you'll become totally fascinated by looking at yourself, becoming fascinated by looking at yourself in the mirror as you go deeper and deeper and deeper down into hypnosis, which is really cool, isn't it? And your eyes get heavier and heavier and heavier, and sooner or later your eyes will close, and as they close down, then you just feel that wonderful feeling. You can go back to that place that you were very recently, where you were sat here with your body full of that wonderful joy and that ember within, wasn't it, which felt really good, that full of joy. That's right. So you can just close your eyes now. That's right. Drifting down. Floating, drifting, dreaming. That's right. Just feeling touch the back of your head. That's wonderful. Down and down and down and down and down. Every part of you just letting go, just relaxing. You can just feel yourself dropping down and down and down. That's right. Now in a moment, I'm going to ask you to open your eyes again. Excuse me, and then as you close your eyes again, you'll close your eyes and I click my fingers like this. Find yourself going 10 times deeper into this wonderful, marvelous, magical state that we call hypnosis, which is truly wonderful, isn't it? That's right, so ready now, try just opening your eyes. That's right, you can see yourself there already. Super fascinating again already, and you can just close your eyes down, down, drifting deeper, deeper, floating down and down, down. That's right, eyes open and then close down, deeper, drifting, floating, dreaming, just feeling that wonderful feeling, down and down, going down to a wonderful, happy, safe place within your mind where everything feels good. Everything is amazing. It's wonderful. Now, I wonder if we could go back to those castles that we were working with before. And in that castle, I want you to imagine that there is a beautiful, ornate, amazing, golden chalice. Like a glorious goblet. And I want you to imagine that I'm going and taking that chalice of wherever it is and I'm putting it into your hands. And you can hold on to that goblet. You can imagine that your hands are taking shape just like that chalice. And I'm going to start putting things inside of this chalice. And you will feel everything that I put in them and anything your mind, your wonderful and amazing mind joy wants to place in there too. But first of all, I'm putting in a wonderful, deep sense of hypnosis, a feeling of liberation, of being wonderfully free, deeply relaxed. A wonderful sensation. And now, that's right, I'm adding in a wonderful feeling of sensuality. A wonderful feeling of sensuality that is so profound and wonderful that it ignites every single one of your senses so they dance together in the most glorious, sensuous, beautiful way. Now I'm putting in a bit of naughtiness, those wonderful, naughty, erotic, maybe even salacious thoughts, things that tantalize your mind, that tantalize all kinds of wonderful things. Now you're arousing all the things that arouse you. All the things that spark your interest, your desire, your needs, the things that turn you on or turn you higher. Now, into chalice, I place beautiful, profoundly orgasmic feeling. It's just sat there in the palm of your hand, mixing in with all of these wonderful things. Can you imagine, Joy, what might happen if I was to stir this mixture like a magnificent cocktail? Can you imagine what would happen if maybe, just maybe, but certainly not right now, I allowed you to taste it? But first, we need to mix this mixture. To mix this up, you can imagine the energy, the concoction, the mixture. That's right, the most amazing, sensual, orgasmic cocktail, full of sensations and wonderful feelings. And of course, as I mix it, we give it energy. More and more energy. You feel the energy in your hands. You feel that profound energy, a wonderful ball of energy there in that chalice, in that cup, there in your hands. You can feel it. You can sense it. It's so powerful. You can even imagine it's making all of your hands tingle as you hold it. Tingle with a deep, deep desire feeling to taste it, to experience it. The more and the faster I stir, the more energy this mixture gets, the more you need it, the more you want it, the more you want to experience it. Doesn't it feel good? Feel wonderful, and it's still there in the palm of your hand. Now, I wonder what it would be like to taste the tiniest bit, the littlest of sips. You can imagine that now. You can take just the littlest of sips. And notice how it feels. Not too much now. I might let you have some more. Do you like some more? Well, we're going to mix it up more. Faster and faster and faster. What else could we add in there? Oh, all of Joy's fantasies. Like casting a spell. All of Joy's wonderful, positive experiences. Mixing them into hopes and desires. Mixing those in. The wonderful thing is you never told anybody that it whizzed through your amazing mind. Mixing those in. A good $1 or $5 of arousal. Mixing it faster and faster and faster, feeling that energy becoming more and more that desire, that need to drink it down, to feel it enter your body from top to toe, to feel it rush through your body in the most amazing, sensual, orgasmic way. How amazing would that be, Joy? How wonderful would it be to drink it? But not yet. Not yet. Adding in all your favourite toys. Adding in all your most sensuous experiences. And adding in a turbo shot that will magnify, amplify, intensify everything 100 times. Now mixing it, now feeling it, now wanting it, now it's almost irresistible, isn't it? Irresistible. Wondering, sensing what might happen as you drink this magical, sensual, hypnotic potion down from this amazing chalice. Are we ready? On the count of 3, drink it down. You ready? 1, 2, 2.5. 2.9. 2.99. 3. Feel it, sense it, notice what it does through your body, feel it. As you drink it down, moving down through your body into every part of your body and mind, notice where you experience, how you experience it. Notice the amazing sensations moving through your body and mind. That's right, feel it, that's right. Feels so good, you want to lick out the cup, don't you? Notice it, feel it. Just allow it to seep into your amazing body and mind. Feels so good, so wonderful. Float on those feelings, float on those sensations. Notice as they intensify through your body. This magical, wonderful potion. That's right. That's right. That's right. In a moment we're going to take hold of your wrist and we're going to push them down. Your feeling will intensify 20 times and feel it now. That's right. Ooh, so that's right. That's right. Not letting go of those feelings. Feel it, notice it, sense it. It's so good, so wonderful, so amazing. That's right. A wonderful place to be. Now just feel it now looping through your body. As if you're drinking it down again and again, and each time you feel it loop through your body, it becomes more intense than the time before. Wonderful loops and waves created from this beautiful, sensual drink. This orgasmic chalice filled of all the amazing, wonderful things in your astoundingly creative mind. Feel it seep into your bones, seep everywhere. Every muscle feeling this glorious feeling. Could stay there forever, right? Just a few more seconds. Because knowing sooner I'll wake you. So you can go deeper into that feeling now. You can get the most from this sensation. You can almost feel it dripping off your skin, can't you? It feels so good, so amazing, so wonderful. Go deeper into it. That's right. Experience it however you choose to, want to, need to. So in a moment, joy. Wonderful, amazing joy. Just hear me count up from 1 to 10. You don't want to come shake the head. A count of 8, you can open your eyes. Count of 10, fully awake, fully alert. But before I do, you can take a wonderfully deep, profound breath. And as you do, you can feel this feeling 20 times more profoundly than right now, or as profoundly as you ever imagined that you could. So take that deep breath now. So breathe out, feel it, feel it now. Sink down into it as I begin to count up at the count of 8, eyes open, 10, feeling wonderful, amazing, bring back whatever it is. That's right, you need from this experience. So ready. 1, 2, 3, lighter and lighter. 4, 5, 6, brighter. 7, 8, eyes opening with joy. 9, 10. Whee! Cool. Fun thing you can do is you can actually have a hypnotic cocktail bar where there's just all hypnotic cocktails and you can make people the mixture that they want. They'll have, have a bit of sensuality, an orgasm, you know, whatever it might be. I'm trying to think, we put all kinds of stuff in there. Somebody actually once could have the sensation of it being, you know, penetrated by a dildo, and we just put all of this stuff in there, mix it all up, and then we're giving out these kind of cool, all kinds of fun stuff. Thank you so much. Enjoy. Okay, where are we? Let's have a look where we are. Okay, so we've got 15 minutes. Is there any questions? Anything that anybody wants to see? Anybody want to experience anything? It's like, yeah, do my dad say. We can turn off the cameras if you don't want to do it on camera, it's fine. Okay, so I guess what I want you to take away from this kind of session this evening, one is that Brits really aren't much of a prude as you've been led to believe. But the rest of it is just how absolutely fucking amazing your mind is. And I mean, it's by far the most amazing organ, sexual organ that we've got, to the point where even if somebody has had an accident, which means that they can no longer function sexually, that doesn't mean that they still can't have amazing sexual experiences, using things like hypnosis to help them. You know, there's plenty of people I've worked with over the years who, a couple of guys that spring to mind who were injured at war, for example, had injuries that meant that, you know, they'd lost parts of their body that were fairly essential to sexual function, and they can still experience orgasms because we can get their mind to do that and to manifest that for them. If you've got people who, for whatever other reasons, they've lost their sexual function, they can still have these amazing intimate experiences with their partner that are deeply connecting, you know, and are just as good. You know, we've been lied to when we believe, we've kind of been taught that sex is about penetration, sex is about connection, and there is no bigger connection, profound connection than the mind connection. And everything that you find in this store all enhances that mind connection. These are all things that you can, you know, do with and add into, but you have to think about it in the first place. So all of this stuff kind of starts in the mind. I encourage you, if you have got any areas left in your life where you've got sexual shame, to do something to get rid of it. There are lots of things that you can do. It is definitely something that you have learned. The shame will always belong to somebody else, and if you're carrying it, it is misplaced. And that is by far the biggest block that I see people have with their pleasure. And you can see you can have an amazing amount of pleasure. You can imagine if you're doing something privately with somebody and they're completely clothed. This is what's so wonderful about this, is that you can explore anything that you want to explore sexually by doing it first in hypnosis, in the safety of your mind, completely closed, and just try it on for size. And this is a great way where if people, for whatever reason, are kind of locked down, that they can start to open up because they can do it in their own speed, in their own way. This is one of the reasons why things like ASMR is so popular, because people get that kind of mirror touch if they're watching somebody massage or their hair being played with without actually having to be touched. And it's a good kind of gateway into becoming more sensual. I am a huge believer that sensuality in the world has kind of been locked down because we tend to view the world through screens. That's why I'm not here on Zoom, I'm here in person. It's a much bigger kind of connection, isn't it? You know, I know it's great that we can do stuff on Zoom, it is, we can do all kinds of wonderful things, but nothing beats being in a room and sharing energy and feeling connected and learning and being able to ask and get a feel for somebody. And our sensuality, especially post-pandemic, that was one of the things that kind of really suffered with people, because we started to view the world we started to view the world rather than feel our way through the world. So that's, you know, the biggest thing. Our mind-body connection, we say this like the mind and body are two separate things, but they're actually completely reliant on each other. Our mind is part of our body and our body is part of our mind. When you think about, we don't feel in our head, but we kind of do. You know, everything is super connected. So all that hypnosis does is supercharge that connection, first of all with ourselves and then with other people. And we fall into trance all the day, all the time. You know, if you've ever gazed, who's ever gazed into their partner's eyes? Instant induction of hypnosis. We feel captivated, we feel our physical state change. it can be as simple as that. And yeah, you know, one of the things that I'm working with couples is that they don't do things like that anymore. Just don't, you know, stand and look at each other. One of the really cool techniques that I'll do with hypnosis with a couple, for example, is something called mutual hypnosis, where I'll put them into hypnosis together, and then we go through a process of gratitude. So it'll be, say something that you really appreciate about your partner that's non-sexual, and we start there and we get more and more kind of intimate about the words that they're saying as we move forward. It is astounding how many people will say, when you hold me, I feel safe, and their partner have no idea. And something as simple as that is such a profound thing to do. So if you can, you know, when we go through these things hypnotically, just being able to say to our partners what we're grateful for, and that itself is a kind of a hypnotic induction, because it keeps us connected to people, and it's super important. And it's often the things we forget to do when we get further down the line. You know, my husband, when he watches this back, because he watches all my videos, always like, you tell the coffee story again, but this is true. My husband, for many years, brought me a cup of coffee to bed every single morning, and I loved it. And one day he stopped doing it, and I stopped, you know, doing anything. And I said to him one day, why have you stopped doing that? This is quite a long time after. And he said, I didn't think it mattered. So I never said thank you. So the next, and I said, no, it did matter, and I was really grateful. And it made my day so much better. If you've ever seen me before coffee, you'll know what that means. So the next morning he brought me a cup of coffee, and I looked at him and I said, thank you darling, that means the world to me. And I saw his face light up, like a light bulb. And since that day we have very mindfully, for all the things he does for me and the things I do for him, acknowledged it rather than take it for granted. And that for me, I suspect, is how you keep things kind of that kind of enchantment. We want to be enchanted by our partners, not kind of annoyed by them. And to keep being enchanted with somebody, we have to be grateful for them. And that, I believe that in itself is kind of a trance that we are in with our partners. So, you know, hypnosis and erotic hypnosis goes right from that, right the way through to, full on kind of being used in a dungeon with bondage and all kinds of stuff. You know, it's a massive spectrum of stuff. So I would encourage you to explore the power of your own mind, explore the power of your partner's mind, and really allow yourself to become fully immersed, to luxuriate in the arousal that your fantasies can bring you without any shame, because our bodies and minds are amazing, and when they're connected and when we allow ourselves to go into those places where we feel intense arousal, and this is the key, I think, is we're always, that stressed out commuter on the train we were talking about right at the beginning, is always thinking about what comes next. What happens next? Am I aroused enough? Am I wet enough? Am I hard enough? Are we connected enough? Is it ready? Is it time yet? Am I going to last long enough? All of these different kinds of things, rather than, oh my fucking God, this feels amazing right now. And the more we allow ourselves to do that, the more our arousal will build, which means orgasms and all the other stuff just happen. So we're no longer, was what I call the plight of the orgasm chasers. So we're no longer on that stressed out commuter on the train, we're on that magical mystery tour, which brings with it so many rewards. Mind rewards, body rewards, eroticism, satisfaction, connection, just feeling full of arousal, and all of that is the power of our mind. So, you know, if nothing else, I want to leave you with that, is that your mind is amazing, there's lots of resources out there to help you, and I hope it feels really good.
I have a
Question?
question for you. Is there a difference between astral sex and hypnotism?
Between
Astral sex?
astro sex, I have to be honest and say I'm not sure what astro sex is. So, what is astro sex? And then, do you know what the definition of that is?
I'm really trying to get into it. Hopefully you might have shined some light on it.
Okay.
But I was just curious.
I can tell you sex when you're in a trance is amazing, because it's about that connection, but I don't know enough about astro sex, so
my understanding, like when you're in a deep meditative state.
Okay. Oh, do you mean like tantric sex?
It's different than that.
Oh, different to that, okay.
Astral projection.
Astral projection stuff, okay.
It has to do something with that, but I was hoping we like
Okay. Well, I'll definitely go and do some research, but I'm always dead on this. That's about me. If I don't know, I say. So I don't know what that. I don't know too much that is. Yeah. But yeah. Any more questions or comments or yeah?
I'm curious, how did you get into this?
How did I get into this?
Yeah.
Believe it or not, Scooby-Doo. So I saw when I was this high the Evil Clown episode of Scooby-Doo where the evil clown went around hypnotising people, and I thought I was going to try that on my sister, and it worked. And actually I did it for a kind reason. She couldn't sleep very well, so we started there. So that was when my interest in hypnosis started. I then just had an interest, went off to university, studied biology, took myself off some counselling because, believe it or not, I was very shy, very withdrawn, very anxious, and this counsellor just happened to be a hypnotherapist, and that's when I knew what I wanted to do. Post-grad, trained, and started off actually specialising in fertility, and what happened was lots of people came to me who were having fertility treatment because they got sexual dysfunction, and me went, well, why don't we just treat the sexual dysfunction, and it kind of evolved from there. And also, like most other people, just have a really big interest in sex because I'm an adult, and so that's kind of where it came from. But the original place is in fact Scooby-Doo. So there you go. Any more questions?
You would have gotten away with it too.
Away with what, sorry?
The Scooby-Doo.
I know, I'm joking. Yes. Any more? If not, I will say thank you so much. Plug for my book, which is available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. You will please take these, and if you don't want to give it to your friends. I am actually back in the US teaching 2 workshops in Las Vegas actually in July. There's this one, which is the workshop for my book. This is for women only or femme identifying only, just because it's easier that way. And then we've got Hypnotic Lantern, which is 3 days of erotic, sensual, recreational hypnosis. You can become, even if you've never done any hypnosis before, by the end of it you will learn how to make an induction out of anything, how to do all kinds of wonderful, amazing, crazy things with hypnosis. We do everything from gender bending to hypnotic robots to orgasms to look on the website, there's masses on there. And the cool thing is because it's part of the hypnosis, the Hypnothoughts Live convention, it's part of their post-con, they've managed to negotiate room rates at the Sahara for $55 a night. So it's quite a fun class to come to. So if you want, you can sign up for those. But just so you've got those, and then all the other free stuff, there is lots of free stuff. If you just scan the QR code that's on my business cards, you can access all kinds of stuff on YouTube. And I hope to be back here next year. So if not sooner, Manny was asking me to come back. So tell me, drop me a line, drop me an email, things that you would like to kind of learn with hypnosis, and I am more than happy to come and teach you. It's just a lot of fun. So thank you so much for having me. I fly home tomorrow. Awesome. I am around as well if anybody, I'm going to turn off the cameras as well and the mics now, so you drove 4 hours to come and see me, so you can have that with my role. Of course I will. What will be Isn't it just so cozy?
I wanted to, I was staring at it because I'm like, do you want it?
Thank you.
Another one
Thank you so much. And
I would, massage 3 times.
that one's out already. You can get that at order it on Amazon, you can get it at Barnes and Noble if you order it, so they don't keep it in stock yet. But it's You're very welcome. Thank you so much for coming out today. No, thank you so much. You don't know anything these things that
What's the fun? When I was in high school, I had a stand-up teacher that used to hypnotize students circling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
To this day, whether I can believe it or not. I mean, he would do a silly, like, you know, like jerk shoot for chicken or a puppy or something, you know, that type of thing. And it was so convincing at the time. And he tried to hypnotize me, and just like, oh my goodness.
it's whether what you want to do.
Yeah.
Or but yeah, I go to a lot of people who I work with a lot of and it's how people kind of techniques and people get in different kind of headspaces. Some people get replenished, feel like being around. Okay. So,
Do you think that is, I don't know if it has with AI, but one thing I was thinking is, as you're describing all these things that happen, you could have, there's probably a future not too far away where that VR experience is generated for you. I wonder if that's going to lead us farther away from tapping into, you know, because the you're now watching.
yeah, I think that was, well, this is the problem with things like porn, for example, where porn a lot because it can come about as external rather than internal. So, possibly, I guess in VR is so immersive, I might look at VR, and there's one called Trip, actually, that people across it, which is like a meditation picture. And you're looking around and there's like waterfalls and very kind of, so I don't know if there's immersive, but
Yeah, I don't
it's
know.
just like everything.
This, what happened today, you know, the way that it's in your head feels so wholesome.
yeah.
As opposed to technology.
Yeah.
Complexity.
Well, the thing is, you've always got your own imagination.
Right.
So it's always going to be what your imagination comes up with, which will come up with what's you want or good and so yeah, I'm a big fan of reading that. Essentially what I end up doing most of the time in my head is saying people's kind of sexual pleasure because it's often kind of either being permitted to them, given to them, or they're watching it. So,
Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't harder
But even with my glasses.
no pun intended.
Oh,
yeah.
It's interesting. Okay, so here's an interesting thing. I was actually on the team that launched Viagra. I was working for Pfizer, and I got them to pay for lots of money to try in the UK.
That's not
So Viagra doesn't really have any impact on what I do, but has brought probably more benefits.
because I turned it off.
When it went over the counter, when it had to be prescribed, it won't make us diabetic and people some issues. What's happened now is it's available over the counter, it certainly is in the UK, I don't know if it is here, but people just walk into the pharmacy that they can buy Sildenafil, and people are taking it just in case. So what's happened is men are raising their erections against a kind of a false erection when they didn't need the Sildenafil. So they've got like these mega hard erections, and then what they're feeling themselves is now comparing it to something that isn't real. So that's when the issue kind of occurs. And also then they get used to it, so then they get anxious for what the so it's I mean people placebos
Oh, that's awesome.
and then they just say like tic tac or something or you know a lifesaver or whatever we walk around naked and stuff as if it wasn't there. Kind of interesting. Yeah, it's cool. But we need it's what is interesting though, sorry, I'm just we were launching Viagra and we still haven't got a classification for female sexual dysfunction at that point. Early 2000s, still no research.
What is the DSM-5 or whatever is it now part of that?
It is, but what's really interesting, and this is the significantly good, is that when you look at it, this is where this ridiculous figure of 82% of women have got sexual dysfunction because they don't orgasm during the penetration. That's actually classified as sexual dysfunction. Look, you're in that study.
How do we get the
Pfizer. I know they were looking for a female application of Viagra. I know they were working for the company at the time.
And then, can you?
So, happening 2% of women. Right. It just doesn't make any sense. then it means we've got women that have an orgasm, men that are trying to make them orgasm, it's back to being that stressed out communication.
I don't have an iPhone, so I don't even
know when you need to, rather than it has to be at this particular moment at this particular time. Sex just gets better immediately. So.
Yeah, I got it in Hawaii. I was
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
Enjoy. I'll take that with my.
And Chris, you're such thank you so much for going. Just a sweetheart.
Thank you both for volunteering. That was nice. Thank
I
you.
have got
That was great.
volunteers. So would you like a book as a thank you?
Oh, we need to get this.
And I love your.
Oh yeah.
More, less
Less
oppression,
depression, more orgasms.
Oh, I didn't even see.
Afro-sexology.
Love it.
Wait, can you sign it?
Of course I can. I need to know how to spell your name.
Here's
Grab my bag.
K-I-R-S-T-E-N.
Oh right, okay.
K-I-R-S-T-E-N.
I'm just checking.
And do you live on you live in the UK, so do you do sessions over Zoom or?
Yep. 1 second. I will. There we go. There you are, my darling. I do. I would say probably at the moment about 60% of my clientele is from the States. So over on Zoom, I do come over a few times a year as well. But I'm mainly teaching classes and teaching hypnotists usually. So as I say, teaching hypno thoughts. Maybe in Chicago in October, maybe. But yeah. I run most of my sessions by Zoom, but they work just as well by Zoom. Really awesome, yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, and also, and I do, I'll teach people how to do erotic practice as well, so I do the therapeutic work, and sometimes people just want an experience, and that's also cool, because that's how often people get over their blocks, isn't it? It's to be able to access something without feeling judged or shamed. Well, you know that, I'm doing your sexology area, so you'll be into all of that as well. So, alright, there we go, so. Are you a JOY?
I'm a JOY.
So feel free to connect.
Thank you.
I have a project coming out later this year which is called Orgasmic Mind, which is female focused, which is all kinds of stuff which might be interesting to you. I'm very excited. It'll be like a monthly call kind of thing, but I'm going to put it about $37, so it means that anybody can access it then, because there's a lot of people that I know are trying to get all this stuff and they can't afford it, and I want lots of women having every orgasms. I want to be like,
Yes, amazing. Wait, question, is this from the artist? Is that like the silver?
Oh yes,
It's from the Burning Man. I can't remember the artist who did the big giant, tip of the iceberg with a giant, did you see that?
no,
Oh,
I didn't see that.
it was a giant.
This is a lady in Berlin makes these.
Oh, okay,
So
so
let's
she,
see, she's called Pito Pito, she's wonderful.
I think on Instagram, it's like tip of the iceberg.
Okay, I'm just
You know,
gonna,
the art project, but